I'm here with
Brent Stineman. I'm a managing consultant with Sagetta USA, and I'm also a Microsoft MVP for the Windows Azure platform.
Okay, and you are doing two talks here on Azure, right?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
so your first one was?
Getting started with Windows Azure. So everybody's seen the stump speech on here's what the Azure platform is, here's what's going on. Well, I wanted to cover the development tools you need to actually get going on the platform, and more importantly, where do you find hosting resources? Because it is a cloud platform after all. It's helpful to have a place to actually deploy and test your applications.
Okay, so Azure has now been out for a couple of years, we'll say.
14 years in production. It was a year in CTP before, or 14 months in production.
Yeah, it's like, well,
sorry.
14 years, wow.
You can tell I'm jet lagged. It was 14 months in production, but it was in CTP form for a year before that.
Okay, and how's the adoption that you've seen with Azure? How are clients and other developers picking up on it?
Microsoft is stating we've got 35,000 paying customers on the Windows Azure platform. Okay. Within clients, I'm seeing discussions go back and forth a little bit. The ones that are really adapting to it seem to be either smaller companies that are trying to push something new out, or a larger company that has a short-term initiative that they're not sure how well it'll take off.
Okay.
And then on very rare occasions, you get somebody that has something that they've got, they want to be able to scale it beyond their current capacity needs, and they're looking at picking that whole thing up and moving lock, stock, and barrel into the Windows Azure platform. But those are in the minority.
If there's one thing that you can see, because Azure is a relatively new concept idea for developers, in a way, what would you see as one of the common mistakes that people do when they first get into it and they maybe will go down a path that they shouldn't? What's one thing that you've seen?
You have to start thinking in terms of scaling out and not up.
Okay.
Developers become lazy. I mean, we've all done it. I've done it. The applications are running fast enough. What do? I need more RAM. I need more CPU. In the cloud, that model starts to break down. We don't really want to go bigger. We want to go big enough to support a unit of work. But we want to now think about reaching back, say, even older into the mainframe days for parallel programming, where we want to now take a single task and split it. And instead of running one big one, maybe I split it in 10 parallel pieces, and I run all of them, get them all done in a quarter at a time.
Yep. Okay. And now the second talk that you're doing is actually, I think it's the first time we've done something like this at our camp, which is have you're calling it a panel with you and two other people, right?
Yep.
And who are they?
Adam, and I always butcher Adam's last name. Sorry, Adam.
Rajowski, I think?
Yep.
Something like that.
And then, momentary blank out here.
Jim White.
Yep, Jim White from Intertech.
Okay.
So we're actually going cross firms and having a message here. I'm a firm believer that cloud computing is going to be the future. It is going to dramatically change the way we do things on premise, because all these new patterns are going to eventually come back in-house again within the next 3 to 5 years of betting my career on it at this point, so let's hope I'm right.
Okay.
But getting people to adopt it, because there are so many barriers to this. Security questions, data ownership questions. You got regulatory compliance has not caught up with cloud computing yet. It's important for everybody to be unified on this message, so I really like the idea about getting more than one person from more than one firm up there to say, here's our view of it, here's why we're behind it. Because it's one thing to see one person say they're a champion of it, but if you start seeing more than one person from different backgrounds are, it's a little more compelling of a message.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.